Well, I guess I'd just like to start off by showing my appreciation to Trev and really the people of Nebraska. You know, I've been invited back several times by Trev, and he was relentless. You know, he kept after it, and it makes a lot of sense to be back. You know, I've spent a lot of time on that field out there. Family, spent a lot of time here. We consider it our home, so it's great to be back. Any questions you have, I'd be glad to answer.
Frank, what was the time right now?
Well, I just felt comfortable with it right now. You know, Coach Rule, I know when he got to town, he got a hold of Coach Osborne. He texted me some. We texted back and forth. We talked on the phone maybe once, maybe twice, and that wasn't happening before. And so I just felt welcomed in that manner, and you know, knew that it would be good to get back and be a part of what Nebraska's all about. And again, and so I looked forward to it, and I'm glad I'm here.
Frank, can you speak to the relationship of your players, a lot of your former players coming back, the guys you coached with, guys you played with? What will that mean you to have that opportunity to really embrace them?
Yeah, you know, that's always a great part of the coaching profession, getting a chance to stay in touch with former players. And you know, a number of them have stayed in touch. Many of them are coming back. We've got an event tonight with them, and not only former players here, but you know, I got a call from some Southeast players, and we had lunch together here just the other day, and you know, I hear back at times from guys at Holy Name High School that I coached my first 2 years of coaching, and so when you look at that, it's pretty hard to beat this profession, you know. So certainly enjoyed it, and enjoy coming back and being around players that I haven't seen for a long time.
Frank, what's around here that's new? Are you pretty impressed with what's
Yeah, just going through the facilities, it's pretty amazing, and I guess that's not the big project yet, you know, that I was through. That it looks pretty good the way it is, you know, and I know that they're searching and reaching to, and I think they're going to be one of the best in the country in terms of facilities. I don't think there's any question about that when they get done. But it's a long ways away from when I first arrived as a player, and we had a little weight room that no one used over at the end zone, you know, and to what it is today, it's amazing to me, you know, and obviously I was here for a while. No comparison between when I was here and what it is now, and but that's great, you know. I think it's really good for the players. I think it'll be great for the fans too.
You mentioned that you had some lunch or went out with some guys for lunch days ago, so you've been in town a little while. As you've gone around town, what have people been saying to you that probably recognize you?
Well, I haven't gone around town much, you know. Our daughter lives here, so Pam and I were staying at our daughter's. Pam had arrived quite a bit earlier, as a birthday was in the making there with our daughter, and she made it to it. I went back to Ohio and visited Ohio University, and they had their spring game last week, and they had a golf outing, and so I got around players and former coaches that I worked with there before coming out here, and then about midweek came out here to visit with a few friends and then get ready for the event.
I know Coach Rule was excited for you to come here this weekend. How have you enjoyed building up that connection? And if you go back beyond just since he was hired in Nebraska, you coached against each other a little bit, right?
Yeah, he was at Temple, and when I was at Ohio, we played Temple a few times. I think it was twice maybe 3. I know we beat him twice, but I think it was we may have played him 3 times. And he was, I believe, the offensive coordinator at that time. And you get a chance to meet him after a game, and you see how they perform offensively and defensively, and so you get to know a little bit about their coaching style and the kind of offenses and defenses that the opposing teams run. But I've been impressed with him no matter where he's been. He's been able to get the job done at a very high level, and certainly in college ball. And he'll do, I really believe, a great job here. He's doing all the right things in my mind. And with that being said, he believes he's got some talent here, and I'm sure they'll be able to continue to recruit great talent. And I'm counting on them. Maybe counting's the wrong word, I'm hoping that they'll have great success and be able to move Nebraska's football program forward. And I really believe that'll happen.
How much did you follow Nebraska from afar?
Yeah, never been to a game. Watched it on TV some of the time. It was tough to watch it all the time, but watched it some of the time. And obviously, deep down inside, was actually pulling for Nebraska. And so it was tough to see what had really transpired in terms of wins and losses as things unfolded over the years. But always if I wasn't able to watch it on TV, would certainly follow the game on score and try to make sure I stayed in touch with what was happening at Nebraska.
Frank, you mentioned that Trev had to really work on you to get you to say yes to this. Can you speak to your hesitancy and why it's? I know you've been coaching, so you've been busy, but what was behind your uncertainty in wanting to say this?
Well, coaching is very hard on families, and it was very difficult on our family in a lot of different ways. And our daughter and her family still live here in Lincoln. And so at first I felt it was best for me just to stay completely away. And then, it got to the point where, I felt like, hey, maybe it's time to look at this through a different lens, and to look at all the great people that are here, the people that I know and worked with, the fans. I was in some ways only hurting myself, I think, in continuing to stay away. So I'm glad to be back.
You mentioned the fans, Frank. When it comes to those who stuck by you through thick and thin during your tenure here and still support you to this day, what is your message to those fans?
That I appreciate the support they gave me throughout my career here. And, you can't please every fan. I know what being a fan is like now. I sit on the couch and watch football game after football game on Saturday, And I got all the answers now. When you watch from the couch, I know exactly when they should go for it on fourth down, But it's, it's something that that not every state has in terms of their football program, and university has as far as the fan support that's here. So you always got to appreciate that. You always got to know, as a football coach, you're never going to always please everyone, but you do the best you can. And as long as you know inside that you're a pretty good football coach, and you don't have to have anybody else tell you that, then you're okay with what comes along with fans being fans.
How difficult was it stepping away from coaching? Times, right? Now you're not coaching anymore.
Yeah.
No football. How difficult was it?
Yeah, it's very difficult. I'm still struggling with that a little bit. I'm watching a lot of football when football season's there. I miss the competitiveness, that's involved in the game, getting ready for the games, competing during the games. I miss the companionship with your fellow coaches and working with them year round. I miss working with the players. So that all comes together to where you miss coaching a great deal. I think if you've ever been a coach and you step away, you've got to miss it. And that was hard for me to just not be involved. And I'm not a guy that makes friends easy. So my neighborhood, I don't know that I know anybody. That I don't have any friends yet. So I'm still struggling and trying to figure out what to do and adjusting to life, But at some point in time, I think I'll probably enjoy retirement. But right now, I still struggle a little bit with it.
Frank, have you had a chance to maybe speak with Coach?
Here, there.
Where is home now?
We live in Boise, Idaho. Yeah. We've owned a house there for, I don't know, it's about 10 or 11 years now, I guess. I just never lived in it, A couple weeks in July, I'd be out there because I was coaching, But our son lives out there and his family, and my wife was visiting Jeff and his family, and then she'd go to Lincoln and visit Cindy and the family there. Then she'd come out and visit me while I was coaching at Ohio, and then she'd start making that circle again. And she found a house once out there. It was just very close to our son's house. She called me and said, hey, I found this house. I'd like to buy it. So we bought a house without me even looking at it. Ended up being the best financial decision I made, because houses out there have skyrocketed since that time, But we're living very close to our son now, and obviously that's an advantage to us, Pam and I, maybe not to our son and his family, because he's always coming over to fix things, I turned the biggest, the smallest projects into the biggest projects, and so he bails me out a lot of the time. So that part of it is good. I think I'll enjoy Boise. I don't know yet for sure, but that's where we're living.
Have you had the chance of maybe offering words of advice with some of Coach Wool, and if so, what are those conversations like?
Yeah, no, I've not offered any advice to Coach. He knows what he's doing. He's a heck of a football coach. Again, he'll do a great job here. He doesn't really need advice from me. I know he's even incorporating the belly and belly option a little bit in his offensive attack. So we laughed about that a little bit, But no, he's his own guy, and he doesn't need any help from me. But I appreciate him reaching out to me, and as I know Coach Osborne appreciated him reaching out to him also.
Hey, Coach, for the last 20 years, the football gods haven't been kindest to Nebraska. We've had lost a lot of games and things like that. I mean, is there anything you can do to maybe help relieve maybe the curse that's been on Nebraska for the last 20 years?
There's not a curse that's been put on by any of my family members, that I know, or else there'd be a few more people in trouble. But no, we've got nothing to do with curses, and so that if there's a curse here, it's not because of us, and let's just say it's gone now, if there has ever been one. Okay.
How much does that help us healing when you're coming back?
It's good for me. I looked forward to coming back, and just never found the opportunity to be right, and now it seems to be right, and so I'm glad I'm back. I got, as I mentioned before, a lot of really good friends here. Get a chance to visit them, and maybe come to some games, and go from there. I think maybe Nebraska plays Ohio in 2 or 3 years, so that'll be an interesting matchup for me, Yeah, I'm glad I'm back. I really want to follow him and root for him.
Is there anybody you've seen in the last 24, 48 hours that you just hadn't seen since you left?
I don't know. I drove up to Omaha and saw Mike Kennedy, visited with him. He was co-captain. He and we were co-captains, and had a great evening with him. You know, I picked Rick Coleman Gordo up at the airport. He was playing about the same time as I was, and drove him down here. He's going to come to the events, and so yeah, you know, a few guys like that.
Coach, what are you looking forward to most about tomorrow?
I'm looking forward to watching the game, you know, and seeing what they're all about. You know, I think Coach Rule feels somewhat comfortable about his team, and you know, I'm just going to be watching it from a coaching perspective. But you know, then we'll also feel good about being in the midst of the fans. You know, that's a good feeling for me.